grifters are going to grift, and Donald Trump is back to grifting again. This is what it's all about. This time, he wants to put his own face on a coin. Well, on two sides of a coin. We're going to talk about that. Really, the Treasury Department, a spokesperson for the Treasury Department, confirmed the other day that they are considering minting a $1 coin to commemorate the 250th anniversary of U.S. independence next year, which is just so great. It's just so hilarious. It's kind of sad at the same time, but it's just so great. The grifter is back at it, and that's what this administration's all about. We're going to talk about that today. I'm Shant Karnikian. That's Brian Kabateck. This is Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. If you like this content, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this with whoever you might think finds this entertaining this time. I don't know how informative this is going to be, but we hope to kind of amuse you with this nonsense. Brian, tell us about the Trump coin. I can't believe I have to say that.
Well, in an absolute twist of irony, the guy who's moving troops into our cities and trying to take away our personal and individual freedoms wants to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States of America by printing a coin with his picture on it. Okay, so I thought in the early days,
plural. He wants to be on both sides of the coin. But anyway, go on. What did you think?
Yeah, I'll let you describe the coin in a second. I'll let you have that little joy. But I thought in the early days of the administration, when Trump issued a so-called executive order saying he was going to do away with the penny, I thought we were done with currency in the Trump administration. But no, but let's wait. I got more information about this. I want to come back to this. This isn't the first time that Trump, as you call him, the grifter in chief, has tried to make money off of coins, but this is certainly the first time that it's been suggested that he would appear on a coin. So with that, Sean, let's describe it. Hopefully we can put up for our viewers the page from X, formerly known as Twitter, what the coin's supposed to look like. Why don't you go ahead and describe it?
Yeah, well, it was released by the Treasury Department. So one side of it has Donald Trump staring off into the distance like he's George Washington or some great fucking leader. And it says liberty across the top over his head. That's the head side, I guess. Then the tail side is it's not a national monument or something like that. It's not a building. It's not a scene from American independence. No, it's Donald Trump holding his fist up. It's Donald Trump again. Yeah. So it's going to be kind of hard to tell which is heads, which is tails, but it's him holding his fist up in front of an American flag. It's kind of a callback to the assassination attempt. And it says, this is the best part. It says fight, fight, fight across the top. Then it says United States of America, e pluribus unum, which means from many, one, which is just so ironic. Just there's so many different ironies. It says fight, fight, fight.
Well, Trump, I'm sure, thinks that when it says from many, one, it means himself.
Himself. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the joke I was going to make. That's right. Meanwhile, it's a reference to from many states, from many people, there's one united entity, the United States of America. And it's just so ironic that it says fight, fight, fight. And it's not fight, fight, fight for the U.S. It's fight, fight, fight for Donald Trump and maybe the Republican Party, but I'm sure he'll turn his back on them soon. It's just fight, fight, fight for the Trump organization.
This isn't the first time the grifter in chief has issued a coin, but he did it before as a business venture. And so it wasn't illegal before because it was not legal tender. He was charging people $100 for a Trump coin. One said victory 45-47 coin, and another one was just $100 Trump coin. And
I don't know if it's like just blatantly, if we can say it's a foregone conclusion that it's legal. In fact, if you go back and watch our episode, and I think it was a pretty popular episode where we talked about all his other grift scams, like the guitars, the Bibles,
we need to update that. We need to update what else he's selling lately.
Did
you ever get your Trump cologne, Shant? Did it ever arrive in the mail?
I'm wearing it today. It smells great. If we only had smell-o-vision through the internet, you guys could see.
Yeah, what does it smell like? What does the Trump cologne smell like? I'm kidding.
I'm tempted to buy it. I just can't get myself to contribute money to him. I'm tempted to buy it just to smell it. But yeah, we talked about how you might not be able to do it. But this is slightly different from that. It's not a typical grift. It's a little more creative. And by the way, speaking of coins, aside from the coin you referenced, Brian, he's issued cryptocurrency, some type of digital coin.
While he's been president.
Yeah.
We need to cover at some point. We need to cover the emoluments clause. But let's go now to this official legal tender dollar coin. Okay, so legal. No. The rule is, in fact, this rule came about, I think, in the 1920s, maybe earlier, that a living person cannot be on any active U.S. currency. Someone has to be dead. And the rationale for it, Shant, makes perfect sense, which is we're not a monarchy. We're not a banana republic. We don't put the images of living people who can be worshipped on currency. We don't.
He's a he's a false idol. He's like a god to some people, and
it's a really federal law. It was codified. I'm sorry, I had misinformation before. It was codified, meaning it became law in 1866 for specific reason to not politicize money. Right, that was really important. And the history behind it was the then Secretary of the Treasury put himself on a coin. And it caused an outrage. He put himself on a 5-cent coin, and he had a large quantity. This is Spencer Clark. Do you remember him, Shant? Spencer Clark back in the 1860s?
No, but I'm sure you.
I remember him well
in the papers.
I remember him well
at the time. Yep.
And it was a 5-cent coin note, and it had a large quantity of them printed before it was noticed. And then somebody said, "Wait a minute! The guy who's responsible for the printing, the minting guy, actually put himself on money." So then the law came down, and the law is pretty clear. It says you just can't do this.
Yeah. By the way, I think it's statutory. It's codified in the U.S. code. It's like 5112 or something like that describes what has to be on it too. And it has to say, in God we trust, liberty. What it doesn't require beyond it? Fight.
It also requires that a person has to be dead for 2 years before they can appear on it. Now, there could be an exception. Congress could act and authorize a living person. And it's happened 3 times in the history of the United States. The last time was about 89 years ago, actually, when a living senator appeared on a Lynchburg $50.
Do you think this Congress will stand up to him and draw the line there and go, you can't do this. You can't just immortalize yourself in a coin while you're alive?
I every day I wake up and I try to hope that there's somebody out there in the Republican Party with a profile and courage. And every day I guess I just become disappointed. But it's a good question. I mean, they haven't even tried. And
they haven't tried because the person that supervises the U.S. Mint said on Twitter or X on Friday, said the administration would share more soon once the obstructionist shutdown of the United States government is over. So ironically, maybe this is what will get Trump and the Republicans to cooperate in order to get his coin push through, to cooperate in reaching a deal on the budget. But we can't make progress on this.
And this is I saw a survey the other day about 500 legal scholars. And the vast majority of them have said that it's either as bad or worse than they expected with what's happened with the legal violations of this administration. And you can make it 501 if you'd actually call me a legal scholar, because it is worse than I thought. I mean, these kinds of actions, putting yourself on a coin, it seems to me just outrageous.
Yeah.
And then the fact that actually people would sit there and go, well, no, it makes perfect sense. He's such a great man. I want to have a coin with his image on it to celebrate the 250th birthday of this great country.
Yeah, because he's made it as strong as it's ever been. I mean, that's really one of the talking points that the spokesperson said, that he's made it as strong as it's ever been. So we need to commemorate that. Do you think maybe, what they call coins in some of the currency in Canada? Loonies. Loonies. Do you think maybe they'll call these loonies because Trump's on it? I don't know. It's just really funny. I don't know how this shakes out. It's not the most earth-shattering legal story. It's just another one of these things, and you go look at it and go, seriously? It's hard to take this stuff serious where the priority, when that the priority is just to grift people. I'm sure there's some grift. I'm sure he's going to make. This is going to come out, and then he'll make his own privately, printed ones, like the ones you were talking about, and sell those for $1 million each or something like that, and make it a special edition one or a limited run, something like that. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's kind of ridiculous to use taxpayer money to print currency like this.
To aggrandize himself, to smarmy up to his supporters. I mean, even, it doesn't matter what, like I said before, I don't know. There's been 10 or 13 presidents since I've been alive.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine any of them, even the ones that I didn't particularly care for their policies, any of them coming up with anything remotely close to this, to doing something like this that's so blatant. That's so, Jimmy Carter, I was alive in 1970. I was alive in 1776 too, but I was alive in 1976 when the United States celebrated its 200th anniversary. Jimmy Carter never would have thought of doing something like this. No one would have thought of doing something like this. So, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep up to date with this stuff, but I think there's probably more pressing issues that we should probably be covering. I'm Shant Karnikian. That's Brian Kabateck. We're two lawyers at a firm called Kabateck LLP. This is Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Looking forward to seeing your comments. Always love hearing from you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.